Good morning everyone. So I'm about to hit the road once again, and today I've got about a 75-kilometre cycle ride to a place called Budva. Two things are going to be a factor of today's ride. One is the terrain, and it looks a bit like a heart rate monitor when I've looked at the elevation. So I think that could be a bit hilly, so that'll be a challenge. And the second one is the wind, which is predicted to blow up to 23 kilometres an hour, and obviously it won't be blowing the way I want it to go, will it? But we'll see. You know, let's remain positive about these things. Maybe it's just going to blow me all the way to Budva and I'll be there in record time. Anyhow, I will leave you for now, and here's some images and videos from the road. Enjoy. Bye. So Ulcinj, by all accounts, is a very busy holiday town during July and August. As I was there in May, obviously it's off season, which is probably why I got the cheap room and the roads are reasonably empty. The cycle ride is uphill, leaving from Ulcinj. I wasn't actually staying in the old town itself, I was staying in the newer section. Still an uphill cycle ride to get out again though. My impression of Montenegro is that it's a lot more developed than Albania, and a lot of everything I've seen is based around tourism. So I'm only cycling on the coastal strip, obviously, and that's all I'm seeing. But the agricultural side, which was a frequent something to see in Albania, is just not there in Montenegro. Today, a bit of rain here and there, nothing too serious. I didn't have to don full wet weather gear, so every now and again I just put the waterproof coat on, and I have my waterproof socks on all day. So it was just frequent showers, and with those showers there'd be gusts of wind. Cycling in the rain is actually pretty good sometimes because the friction on the surface is less, and you sometimes you go a little bit faster. It's quite strange. Today's rain was actually pleasant all the way through, and I really enjoyed the day's cycle. Now, a feature which I mentioned earlier of today's cycling was going to be a series of tunnels. I actually lost track of how many tunnels there are between Ulcinj and where I ended up in Budva, but I think it was 5, could have been 6. This is the first one that I came against. There was no indication as to how long it would be, so it's only until you get round the corner that you realise, okay, this is a little tunnel, no worries, got to go straight through it. It doesn't really matter about the lighting because you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Hey, see what I did there? What my GPS does is tends to, if it sees a tunnel on the map, it wants to reroute me through the mountains. But it only did that twice, so there was one tunnel which it routed through, so sometimes I can't get my head around the GPS, but that's a completely other story for another blog post. This is a longer tunnel. Obviously I didn't know that until I got a bit closer to it. Some of the tunnels after this, it tells you how long the tunnel is. So I start off fine, I'm going through, I've got no lights on my bike, yeah, it's something I should probably invest in. Cars coming behind me I can see, cars coming in front of me are lighting the tunnel up, brilliant. However, get to about the halfway point, there's no cars coming in either direction, can't see a bloody thing. So I end up putting my foot on the pavement, there's like a raised pavement on the right hand side, and use the bike almost like a skateboard to get going until I can see again, because I didn't want to pull into the middle of the road to start cycling, and I couldn't get too far over to the pavement in case I hit the pavement. If I hit the pavement I might fall off the bike and I'm going to fall into the traffic. So I got halfway, and then it's just inch forward until I can see again, and then start pedalling, and I'm on the way out. And I've got a clip that I shot straight after this, which we're going to now. So I hope you can hear me over the sound of the wind. I've just come through the first of 2 tunnels, the second of which made me say out loud, fuck me, because it was a bit long and dark in there. So I'm not sure how many more tunnels there are like that to go through, but at least I know what to expect now. Came out and then looked at this little bit of coastline. Looks quite stunning now. I imagine in a clear blue sky day in July or August it's unreal. It's a shame really now it's cloudy, it's overcast. It's rained a couple of times, just light showers, so no need for the full waterproof gear. Just putting a coat on when it does rain, and I've got my waterproof socks on. So I'm just heading that way now, about another 60 kilometres to go. Cheers. So heading off, the coastline is absolutely gorgeous. As I mentioned, on a clear blue sky day, that sea is going to be wonderful, and there's some great views of towns on little islands in the middle of the sea, and craggy coastline, and it's a really good place to go. I mean, I can understand why it is busy during the summer. It's just really strange how it is so dead towards the end of May though. I mean, even now, okay, today was weather sucked. You can see this by the picture in front of you. I'm heading towards dark cloud. but May weather, you can get good weather, and I don't know, for industries like the tourism industry to build their industry just around 2 good months, which are July and August. I don't know. There's just something, I don't know, that goes against my idea of planning. Over on the left hand side there, you'll see 2 cyclists. We give each other a little wave, but we were going too fast in opposite direction. I've seen cyclists every day for the last 3 days now on bicycle tours, obviously always coming the other direction. Not stopped to speak to anyone yet because we've always seemed to be in a bit of an awkward place, but it's nice to see other people out on the road. We're all having our own little adventures and experiencing it in our own ways, and obviously this should encourage even more people to go out and do some bicycle touring, although perhaps you might want to avoid that wet weather there. So this clip here I'm basically showing you because you can see that there's no shoulder for me to cycle on, and it's just one lane, and this one lane is basically the length of Montenegro, which is next to the coast. So I'm used to it now. If this was your first day of cycling, you'd probably be a little bit pissed off, but yeah, I'm used to it. What I'm not used to, of course, is the tunnels, and here we have yet another tunnel. So I really need to invest in some half decent bike lights. If I can pop into a bike shop, I'll get some. And you can see that everyone just goes thundering into the tunnel, and it's fine, for this first sort of like 50 metres I can see perfectly, especially if there's cars coming behind me because they're lighting the tunnel up with their lights. But again, you get to the halfway point and you're kind of like, oh my god, and then you just have to get through the tunnel as best you can. So yeah, I don't know, all part of the experience, but that's not the most enjoyable part of the day. I mean, you can imagine what was going through my mind. So about here, I have my foot on the pavement again, and now I'm kind of scooting along until I can get to the other end. It's quite difficult cycling in the absolute pitch black because you don't know if you're leaning to one side or not on the bike. You don't know how far from the curb you are. It's quite disorientating, really. So it's good to reach the end of the tunnel and see that light. Yeah. I think there's going to be more tunnels in Croatia as well, so at least I'll be well used to it then. And obviously you can see that none of these are lit, which is a bit of a shame because it'll be better, because not all the motorists are putting their lights on. Anyway, that's enough for the day cycling. Let's have a look and see where I ended up. Time for the end of day roundup, and I find myself yet again in another hotel room. What's going on, Briggs? Well, it seems to me that Montenegro is the place to go for bargains, especially in the off season. This place has cost me £14.56, a random number to do with the tax. And she even asked me if there were 2 people staying. So if there were 2 people, that would have been like €7 each, which is ridiculous. So my one travel tip is to travel with somebody else because it's going to really reduce your travel costs. Anyway, big double bed, all for me now, ha ha ha. And some sweets, they left me some sweets, how nice is that? They're going to last about 2 seconds. There's a little balcony out there. There is a little mini kitchenette, which has got a fridge, a cooker, a kettle. Got the cupboards, we've got a TV up there with some sort of satellite thing, so probably get world news. And in there, once more, a shower. So far, I mean, I am travelling in the off season, but I've been, very impressed with the prices and the quality of the accommodation in Montenegro. One step closer to Dubrovnik, which is what I'm focusing on now, to be quite honest, because I'm meeting the missus there, and I'm quite looking forward to that. So only a couple of days left to go, and that's all I'm going to say in this vlog report. So I will talk to you all tomorrow. Take it easy. Bye.